Loading, loading, loading. Hello. Hi, Tiasha.
Hello. Hi, everybody. Hi, Pedro.
I'm fine. How about you?
Fabulous now that I'm here.
Perfect. It's such a pleasure to be with you again. It's
Oh,
been quite
pleasure is
some
all
weeks.
mine. I
Been
know,
quite some
right? You
weeks.
just left. Yeah, you just left me there waiting.
Yeah. I'm so sorry about that. I've been so busy taking care of myself and trying to get better every blessed day.
Yeah, yeah.
So
That's why one show was canceled. As long as
yes,
you're getting better, that's all that matters.
that's so true. So I'm on my feet, still working and trying to be there for everyone that needs my attention. So I'm really happy about that. And here we are. It's another great show again today with a very nice topic. My truth,
Yes,
my own truth. Cheat me on the
yes,
price, but not on the goods. An
yes.
interesting one. And I know a lot
A
of people
deep
might be
one.
wondering. Yes, yes. I know that a lot of people might be wondering what exactly do we mean with this topic. The thing is that in life, a lot of people tend to forget that some things in life, despite the way we feel about it, it still do not change the nature of certain things in life. And I will, I'll tell you a story. For instance, I I had this friend that thought of quitting her job some months back. She was very close to her boss, and there was a position that opened up, and she felt that that position she should have been the one to fill it up. But her boss passed her over, and the position was given to someone else that she, in her own words and her opinion, believed that it's less talented and less qualified. And that actually affected her a little bit. Not a little bit, it affected her productivity. It became almost an adversity for her as a person to manage, and was of the idea of maybe it would have been better to quit her job. And I worked together with her, putting into practice my problem management pros experience. And we were able to resolve the issue, and she's back on her feet, doing way better than she used to be. But the lesson that I learned in this case was that at times in life, because we are close to some people, it generates an unnecessary expectation in us. I am not trying to say that what she felt was not right or was wrong, but at times there is a place for feelings and a well thought process when we deal with issues. And that's something that most of us at a particular point in time we find it difficult to do because it could get we could have find ourselves at a crossroad in life and we just don't know what to do. We have no clue as at that particular point in time. So working with her helped me to make a reflection personally on my own, how we manage friendship and expectations. Because there is, for the fact that you are very close to your boss does not mean that that position will be given to you. I'm sorry. And you are close to your boss does not mean that you should have an unnecessary expectation from your boss because
Hmm.
your boss has the business to lead, and it gets to a point in a particular organization they have to make a critical decision, and that decision has to take into consideration all things being equal, the interest of
Hmm.
the organization and where the organization hope to be. And at times in life, I will say this specifically for young ones and maybe even for the grown up as well, that promotions in an organization, oftentimes, like in the case of my friend, is usually not given to the one that you, as a worker, might believe is the most talented and the most experienced. Because these things are done in a way whereby the person in charge of that particular authority or position is somebody that is in the culture of that organization, is one of us. I'm making an example, putting myself as being an organization. The person has to be one of us. Not only will the person have accepted the culture of that particular organization, it has to be someone that will be able to represent and protect the interest of that organization. And mind you, there is a caveat to it that most people underestimate. You are very close to your boss. It's not a fact that some positions will be given to you. It's not a given. What I mean with this is this: every other person that you work with report back to your boss. You don't know
Hmm.
what is being said behind you. And having a very good and cordial relationship with your boss without you having the same relationship with your subordinates, your colleagues that do file a report that has to do with interpersonal relationship and what have you. You might be very close to your boss, but at the same time, you don't have that charisma or that interpersonal relationship with your subordinate. And most times, decisions to promote are not taken by the boss alone.
Hmm.
All things are factored into it. So
Yep.
when you do not get that particular promotion, it might be that you are not that a very popular person in your place of work. You could have been loved by your boss, but your boss, there is so little that your boss can do when you have a type of character that your colleague would describe as a cheating character. One thing
I think
is
that
to,
there, you
okay,
know
tell
what,
me,
I
Chelsea.
I think that you need to look at it from like all the perspectives. And here is
Absolutely.
also like, sometimes, they also call something like a teacher's pet, for example, right?
Hmm.
It might be, let me put it like that. If you are friends outside job, even from before, let's say, when the positions were given or whatever,
Hmm.
at work, this friendship should not and cannot be equalized with a professional position, first of all.
That's true.
Secondly, there are cases when you see your boss as you are very close, but boss might be also using you to a certain extent.
That is true.
Um, you might be an information provider. You think that you're doing a great job. He's laughing with you, all smiley and unicorns and rainbows. But there might be a backstory to it. And then there is something that is called maybe like a true like mutual respect, maybe from both sides. But we need to take something in consideration. Just because you're close to somebody, you are not entitled to anything. So if
That
you
is.
are not qualified, let's say
Hmm.
that not even that other people reported something about you. Let's talk about qualification or maybe the position of the type of a work would be affected by your friendship as well. So maybe the boss also decided for that, for your own good or for the good of your friendship, and rather left that, entitledness, let's say, aside and look from the professional perspective. Like there's so many angles. And like you said, yeah, you rightly put it. Um, the, you're not entitled to anything. There is no, why should you even expect? And even, you see, this is also one thing. If the other employees know you are close to the boss and that position is given to you regardless of your qualifications, regardless of whatever, your teammates are going to see you as an opportunist. You two are working together to make it and you don't care about others. You know, it's
Absolutely.
I just people don't make friends with bosses. Like honestly, just don't do it. You know,
That
or
is
even if it's outside of work, let it be outside of work. Do not bring it into job. Do not show everybody. I mean, you boss and you cannot be friends on a professional level. No way.
that is true. The reason why I relate this story is what you have just said. Like I said earlier on, the issue with entitlement, thinking that because we are
Mhm.
friends, it should be this way or that way. Having an
Yeah,
unnecessary expectation of others, which is not particularly right at a particular point in time. And these things create a sort of fallacy in the mind of people. They tend to believe
yep,
things that in real life do not exist.
yep,
Why is this necessary? Is because I believe that most of us have issues in life because we have chosen to see things or know or accept things in life with the expectation or with an idea of how things should be instead of taking things for what they are.
they are. Yeah,
This is really when you talk to people most of the time that they have difficulties in functioning in a particular society. This oftentimes is the problem when people neglect the reality of life and choose to take things thinking it should be this way or that way. And
yeah,
I can tell anyone the larger society is even more forgiving. One of the most difficult society, I use it as a society figuratively, to be able to function and navigate through in life is your family, your place of work, your school, your clubs, and your associations, the people you hang around with. They hardly forgive the things that you do. The larger society doesn't barely even care about you. The law protects everybody. It's a shade for all of us. We can all find our way around it. The people or the context in which if you are not able to function properly, the consequences will be very deadly to that particular person. For instance, your family. These are what creates confusion in our life. If
yeah,
I had not been able to counsel that friend, walking her through every possibilities, even making her to realize, quote unquote, how decisions are made in an organization, how the importance of interest when it comes to promotion, like I was explaining later on. You know, most people, if you have ever worked in a corporate world, this is very common. It is not the most talented, quote unquote, according to most workers or people that are in that environment that is promoted. Of course,
hmm
the influence of who you know comes into play. But if you focus your energy on that, you may find that place or that environment very, very unbearable to work. And
I mean,
how?
yeah,
My question is
but you
this:
know,
how can one? Excuse me, Tasha. How can one be so educated in life, have gone through a lot of things in life, had a very great experience, but yet do not know that at times in life it is the best thing to do to accept things for what they are instead of what they are supposed to be? Why do people, no matter their education, age, and experience in life, still find it difficult to realize?
um, education has nothing to do with that.
Do you
You
mean
can,
it?
you can, I yes, Because listen, you go school, right? We are talking about education within school. They don't teach you what life is about. They don't.
Mm-hmm.
And
This is fair.
with with reading the book, school book again, you cannot get any type of experience because listen, let's put it like that. No matter what book the school will tell you to read, right? Even if we go back now, just to make an example, if we go
Mm-hmm.
back, let's say primary school or maybe even high school and stuff. I don't know in Africa how you were, but like we got like books that we needed to read, and then we needed to write about that book, like like a summary and stuff for to grade
Mm-hmm.
us. Um, First of all, any book that I read in that time, I do not remember because
True.
I was forced to read it. I was told that I'm going to be great on my understanding of the book, and that's exactly what I did. I understood the book the way the school wanted me to understand the book, so I can answer those questions and write like a short summary about it. Now let's
Mm-hmm.
go to the books that teach you a lesson. Let's whatever, even history and stuff. Again, whatever you were given, you were learning to be graded. You didn't learn to understand. You learned to be graded. So when it comes to education, half of the things like I can have PhD and I don't know what, but trust me, even what I learned the last week, for example, I will not remember. So when it comes to this type, nah, forget about it. It doesn't give you experience. It doesn't give you knowledge. It gives you degree. It gives you profession. It gives you like position in a society, and that's it. Now, when it comes to experiences, we spoke about it on one of the podcasts. Some people do not learn. Some people do not want to learn. Some people didn't have certain experiences to even like recognize them. And we also said 18 doesn't make you an adult.
That's true.
And if I may just add, like, why don't they understand, or like, I also have a problem with the way some people are brought up because parents just provide everything. It's always closed in a bubble. The life is perfect. You are given everything. You basically do not need to work for whatever. And I think that it also comes from there. If you in life got everything easy, Pedro, how can you even understand the situation you just described? And I'm sorry to say, like, I don't know the age, I don't know her personally, I don't know anything, so I cannot judge based on that. But just what you told me, to me, is like this is a very immature person who will throw a tantrum anytime in life is not going to be given an opportunity she thinks, let's say, she deserves rather than working hard. And it's not just her. We are speaking about general society and
Of
everybody
course.
now off late that I'm coming across is like, but I deserve it. Yeah, okay. I also deserve it then. But if I think that I deserve it, then what did I prove to whoever that I really deserve that position? Whether it be a job, whether it be in relationship, friendship wise, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
you know like there is no effort anymore. In this case, for example, if you
Yes.
think being a friend with, so to speak, boss is enough for you to fly to come somewhere, then I'm sorry, it would be better to leave the job. You get what I mean? Like
Yes.
throw that and go and learn, because whenever you're gonna go, let's say you're gonna come to the position or something in another company, the boss is not gonna be your friend. Let me see you there then. you know
Absolutely.
this is so, no, I have a problem. Like, I don't want to be, you see, a story, for example, just an example. I had two managers so to speak, where I'm working, and they're both extremely nice. Both. One is very talkative, very open and stuff. And sometimes you find him, for example, talking to other workers there. They knew too much to my liking. They knew too much about his personal life. And
Mm-hmm.
they when like certain information came to me, I was like, no, I don't know. I didn't ask him. He didn't tell me. I don't care. He's my boss. He's not my
Ah,
friend.
yeah.
And I said that so many times. I can listen now that I'm, let's say, on maternity leave and stuff. Fine. If I see him, I'll be nice with him. I can even go on a drink with him. I'll sit down. But you are not my friend. The other one, he left the job now, unfortunately, and stuff. But I still text him. I still, like, ask him for his whereabouts, how is his family and stuff. But he's still not my friend. I do it out of respect because what he put into me, I appreciate. But when I see others, that's where the problem started. I saw it like, oh, come on, give me more hours. You know that I need money. So wait, hold up. That's your boss. If he doesn't need you, why should he give you? Because you know what happened last week in his house or what? Why do you feel entitled? If you're gonna be working accordingly and you're gonna be, proving that you deserve it, then yeah, they will give you extra hours. But not don't be throwing that, friendship in a face. It's disgusting, immature.
This, this is so. The reason. We titled the show tonight "My Own Truth." You know,
Yeah,
treat me in the prize, don't treat me in the goods, because
yeah.
this person, of course, it's not as if I'm watching her dirty laundry in the public. The thing is that she felt so entitled to it, and at the same time, believed that that is what should have happened, and was talking about her truth. If it was her, it would have been this way and that way. That got me thinking. When people casually use this idea of my own truth, what exactly do they mean? Does your truth have to change the reality? It
I think
becomes
they
troubling.
want
It does,
they want to change the reality. I think it's just delusion. It's
but
delusion.
happiness will be far away from someone that continue to manipulate the reality to meet what her theory is. That person will barely be able to function in any place. You don't manipulate reality to fit into your theory. That's a huge
No,
problem. That's like
you
fitting
shouldn't.
a round peg
I
into
agree.
a square hole. It wouldn't work. It wouldn't
I
work.
agree.
Anyway, a very warm welcome to Mr. Frank. And there are some comments for us already. Uh,
Hello.
oh, Madam Chichi, we're talking with the stars. Thank you so much. Very good evening to you all, and welcome to the show. I saw you all in the audience, and a very good evening to you, and a warm weekend to all of you. Mr. Frank, how is the family?
Man, we are good. And yours?
Great. We are doing great. We are doing great. As my Igbo brothers will say, Jehovah Boeze, we are doing great. We are doing great,
That's
brother.
good.
We are doing
Yeah.
great. We are talking about the idea of my own truth. Where will it be? Where is it applicable? Because I had a case that I work with that got me thinking recently. The idea of entitlement. It is good to be friends with our board or not. That's a different discussion entirely. But having an unexpected or reasonable expectation of our friends and ourselves, when we have an unnecessary expectation of our friends, I think it leads to chaos in our relationship with others. And
Mhm.
most people are not able to function well in a formal place. It is because that they have not choose to train their mind to see things for what they are. This is my position on it. Because when people complain about others on things that are really not that necessary, or not having any negative or positive effect about their life personally or their profession, I wonder why must we all be in other people's business? I don't know if you have
Mm.
encountered a situation like that in your working experience, Mr. Frank.
Well, somehow, uh, just a minute, please. So somehow, not really. I've not witnessed something of such where I work, where I worked before and where I'm working now. So I've not seen anything such an entitlement. But what I've seen so far, what is going on these days is talking about personal truth many a times, which not really truth. We see many people, they say this is their personal truth, this is this, that is this, but we know that personal truth is an opinion, someone's opinion. It is not the reality or something. We'll see some people have said this is what they feel, this is what they think. So this is their personal truth. So it doesn't really mean that it is true everywhere or is actually the truth. Some people are delusional, so they take that to be their personal truth, and they never got actually what they want. And the feeling of entitlement many a times also come from those unrealistic ideas. Having all those kind of entitlement, I'm entitled to this, I can do this, I can do that, I can do that. It's lack of understanding. There is nothing like entitlement. We have to work to get whatever that we can get. Okay, so there is always a price to pay for everything. So
Mhm.
there is nothing like personal entitlement and all that. There is no personal truth, but there is an opinion, which is
Yeah,
true to everyone. Say my opinion might be truth to me, but it is not. It doesn't really mean it should be truth to you. You should, concord to it. No, but
hmm,
it has to depend. So, but sometimes too, this has led us to different kind of stuff, argument today, different kinds of problem tomorrow, and all that. Because one feeling is not truth. And
yeah,
today, what you heard is that I feel that this, or I feel that. Feeling is nothing. It's just a kind of reaction for a time. After a time, it goes. So we
yeah.
cannot work on that or base anything on that. But most people base something on that. So
Mhm.
at least that's.
I mean, in
mm,
this case, it's okay to say like, I think you are unfair. Fine, but leave it at that. Because if you think that somebody is unfair, like even though you explain, that person doesn't need to change that the truth, the fact, or whatever, just because you feel it that way.
yeah,
I
yeah,
I I used it like I use that word as well. Like I think you're not being fair. But then I followed with an explanation. But I think that it even happened a job.
mm,
Because I thought like you sorry, I'm being treated unfairly, but it doesn't mean
yeah,
that they should just like now bow down and apologize and stuff. I as a worker
yeah,
have like a right to express, because
yeah,
if I feel like I'm being affected, or my type of work has been affected or whatever, yeah, I'm going to speak out. I'm going to tell you this and this and this. But there is no expectation that you're going to take that in consideration and do it my way. No
yeah.
way.
Very
you
true.
know
But Tasha, what you say now is because you have understanding, believing
yeah,
that all things ought not to be in your way. But do you know that in this generation, in this present time now, it doesn't work that way. It's how I feel that matters most this time. It is no
yes.
longer what is truth. It
But
has
you
to do
see,
with what feeling says, what
Yes.
I think. But if you say truth to someone, sometimes, not sometimes, many a times, truth is not palatable. It's not
Hmm.
palatable. One got hurt. You can hurt someone's feeling deeply to say the truth, to go and do something that is right. But in these days,
Yeah.
what I find is something that's okay.
It depends what kind of a person you are. Like me, for example, I'll tell you, if your feelings are hurt,
Hmm.
so be it. Because if I look at your feelings and I look, let's say, at Pedro's feelings and I look at I don't know whose feelings, I lose myself. I completely lose it. Even if the truth, the fact is known. If I'm gonna tell you, and let's say, or no, no, let me put it like that. And I'm not gonna tell you because I'm gonna be thinking of how you might react, or what the feedback from you might be, or maybe how I'm gonna hurt you. Then I'm not being true to myself either, no matter my position. If we are talking about work, relationships, whatever. Why? You see, this is like everybody gets offended over everything. But once you're in public, this is same, like, let's say, use also social media, for example. Once you are out there, you're exposed to the world, you're exposed to the environment. There are different opinions, different personalities, different whatever, different truths, if we're speaking about that now. You understand? You're gonna come somewhere, you're gonna be surrounded with a lot of people. So what now? What now? Let's
So,
say work. Yeah, no, you listen. You are not working just you and boss. Let's say it's a
yeah.
boss and another boss and a manager and supervisor and a whole team of workers and the office job. You know how many people is there? So
Yeah.
if everybody would be entitled to that, listen, I can express myself. I'll express my feelings, my truth. Let's say my
Yeah.
opinion. You understand? But there shouldn't be an expectation. But also, if I tell you something, you shouldn't be offended. This is
Yeah.
also the problem that I find. Even at workplace, I'm not gonna say anything because they might punish me and stuff. Oh, fuck it. Let them
Yeah.
punish me. If that's the reason
Yeah.
because I spoke out, they're gonna punish me, then I rather leave. I'm sorry. I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am just a number for them. So if
Yeah.
if 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 I go, they're not gonna feel it. I'm irreplaceable. But I will go and I'll chase my own happiness. You understand?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, so this is also another way to look at it.
Yeah.
You see, I mean, yeah, sometimes you need to consider certain people, like maybe the vulnerable groups and whatever. Maybe you wrap it in a wrapping paper and deliver the truth like that, or close it in a bubble and sugarcoat it, and I don't know. Yeah, I get it. I've been there myself. I still do it sometimes because I know the way I am. I might really, really, really hurt somebody because I'm too, maybe sometimes too bold. And I learned that. But that doesn't prevent me from especially if you ask me for an opinion, I'm going to tell you. You ask for
Yeah.
it. So
Yeah.
why being then offended after? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It's like so many different dimensions to this situation. And I think that
Yeah.
people just need to grow the fuck up. That's what they need to do. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. It takes, but knowledge and the way we are brought up and with the things that where we learn from. Okay, so all this matters a lot. Many a times we put all these ones in consideration as well, because sometimes it is hard these days to say the truth. So when one says the truth, it is hard at the moment.
You
Very,
know,
very
well, I listened to the both of you carefully, and Frank, you said the same thing that Yasha said earlier on. It has to do with our upbringing. But my question really is this: can we really blame this issue of jealousy? Because to me, entitlement at times comes from being jealous.
Hmm.
become what the person believes should have been given to him, even though the person has not earned it. So,
Yeah.
can we really blame this on our parents?
Yeah, to
What should
some
a
extent
parent
you
not?
can.
Should, parents must be held liable for everything that their grown-up children, even on things that has to do with how they feel.
I
Let me tell
personally
you.
think
Let me tell
yes.
you this. Let me tell you this. Listen. Nobody, no child is responsible for his upbringing.
Hmm.
You understand? No child
Mm-hmm.
is responsible for his or her upbringing. So how a child is brought up is 100% the fault of the parent and the environment. You understand?
Hmm.
So I was watching a program where a dad has never said anything no to the child. The dad has never said anything. There is no word no. No. It does not exist in the child's life. So even the mother, if she says,
Mm-hmm.
I want this, it is like that. If she says, I don't want this, it's like that. So if she says, I ain't going to this place, no. I ain't doing this, no. That is just how it is. No, no to her request. So she now got to a point, even she could not go to school, they have to homeschool her to some extent. So it got to a point in such a way that, I don't know, she wants to do something, and they told her no. She picked something and hit. How can you tell me no? Do you know what you are saying? You are telling me no. Oh, you are telling me no. Now she's around 18. So how would you explain that? Whose fault is that? It's not the fault of the child. It's the fault of the parent, 100%. So if sometimes you tell the child no, and she understands that it is no. The parent, they were rich, they were privileged to have had a company. The little girl can come in and talk to anybody anyhow. Nobody is going to say anything. Everything that surrounds her is that everything obey her command. Okay. So now by the time she now grows up and need to do something else, she made a different word that wasn't similar to the one that she had before. So it automatically she now had a problem. And this is where everything went out of her. She has to go to jail. There has to be this, be that. She couldn't keep any kind of relationship. She herself became a problem because she didn't understand how come that she is different from every other person. You know. So in such a way, we can blame the parent. We can blame the parent for that. And having the understanding, knowing that a child is just like an empty phone, already be programmed, but you have to put some software or some app in order to make the phone to function. So that is how it is. So in some ways, with the way with the way we live, the way we respond to matters, we respond to this. Many a times it has to do with our upbringing as well.
Hmm. I
Okay,
agree.
so it has to do with our upbringing. There is nobody lives on his own. We copy because there is nothing that has not been.
Yeah.
All things has been before, and they will always be. It cannot change so long as we live. So that is how it is. So many times we need to talk to our children and help them to understand. Even the fact that you need it doesn't mean that you can be given. Understand that.
That,
Sometimes you
that,
won't have
I
to say
I
no.
think I think if you look back, let's
Yeah.
see our generation, and
mm-hmm.
I'll go from our generation to older generations up because what
Yeah.
is like, you know, down there on the lower ages, it's horrible already. But I
No,
think that
don't insult my co-patriot. I'm a Gen Z. Eh?
um,
I'm the
I
part of
think,
that class that said duh.
yeah, well, I say duh as well, but that's just like some adoptive phrases that fly in the society. The
Yeah,
fact is that I think that when it comes to parenting now, yeah, I blame parents as well, but I think that the system got it
yeah,
hard on us now. There is no
yeah,
such thing as punishment. There is no such thing, like everything is offensive, everything is taken wrong. We spoke about this. You remember, Pedro, when we were also talking about
Yeah.
disciplines and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You see, until you mention at that time, a word discipline that, people might take it wrong. I didn't even think of it. But in nowadays
So
society, everything is wrong. So I think that a lot has to do now with this. Because I see like the way I was raised, for example, and then there is 10 years difference with my brother, with younger brother. And I see, and I'm not saying that my mom was doing difference, but you can tell that he's, apart from being independent and strong and stuff, you can see certain things inside him that are way different than they are with me.
hmm,
And as much as like, yeah, all the fingers get pointed, let's say in my case at my mom, for example, it's also like I'm also understanding that the system now is completely different. It's
yeah,
completely different,
true.
even in schools, for example. What a teacher, like the extent that the teacher can go,
yeah,
it's like zero to none. They basically need to take all the crap the kids throw to them, and then the
hmm,
approach of those that are misbehaving is so soft that it's basically not even working anymore.
yeah,
you know so you have parents that are basically kneeling down to the system, and then you have teachers that are also some kind of a, yeah, they are, when it comes to that, an upbringing institution, because they
hmm,
should be doing that. At least years ago they were, but now it's just a place you drop your kids to be for those 6 7 hours a day, so they get educated, and then you see what I mean, like the system has changed. They are molding the kids that are gonna be easily guided. Does that make
The,
sense?
it is true that the system has changed, but at the same time, we are the one that changed the system. The system didn't change on its own. We changed it, and that's the problem. That is the problem with what I have with the new truth that is now called my truth. We
hmm,
understand. No, let us not kid ourselves. What may have been true 10, 20 years ago, obviously for many reasons, and
it's no
due
more
to the
truth.
dynamism of our society, may no longer be truth today. On,
Pedro, listen, 1 minute, please. For
okay, okay.
it's not a dynamism to say. It's not actually a dynamic. It's just an illusion. It's just
How
an
do you mean?
illusion.
How do you mean an illusion? Something
Okay,
that
let
may
me
have
tell.
been truth.
No,
Okay.
no. Let me tell. Truth remains. Truth change not. Truth is truth forever. It cannot change. Look at what is going on. Look at this Gen Z, or the way we are not talking now. What is no more truth? That is what we applaud to be truth now. Look at what they
Yeah.
did. With time, they got to power. They got to the system. You understand?
Yeah.
So they got to the system, they are changing everything. You and I know, and common sense tells us that this is not, it's like we are saying that there must be day before a night, but there has to be night before a day. You understand? But now we understand those things, but whatever they are saying, are what has they been able to achieve? Nothing. Is it true
That is
happiness? Is
true.
it true freedom? Do you know that this time we have more suicide than ever? Than ever. We have more suicide than ever. We have more crime than ever. Okay. and we have more irresponsibility than ever. So, what is truth? What is it that has turned? It's just an illusion. They will not be able to achieve whatever they want to. There are men that are still thinking, and those men will come again. Okay, there are fathers who build it. If the people that build the system they were like this, we could have what we got today. You understand? And these people or this generation from 2000, especially from 2000, they were breed. They were breed to destroy. They can't get anything. For sure, they cannot get it. They cannot get it.
Yeah,
Education is not there, intelligence is not there, invention is not there. Who are the people still inventing? They are the old people.
that is
So what?
true. That is true. But
So
I believe that we have not been able to pass the mantle of leadership correctly down to them. You understand?
okay.
Because one thing is to criticize the younger one due to how things are going today. But at the same time, I also genuinely believe that part of the fault has to do with us as well. And this is the reason why I said so. Because the system did not just change on its own. We changed it by neglecting what Frank had just said right now, which I agree. What is the truth that we are now whitewashing it? We don't want to accept what the truth is. But mind you, you should also remember that as a society, whether you and I agree or not, we generally favor that kind of a change that we believe would have taken us to a better place as a society. You know, at least in our time, it was still allowed for a child to be spanked. Damn you today if you spank a child.
Mm-hmm.
It will not even come to your mind for you to do a thing like that. I am not even
Mm-hmm.
here debating whether it is right or wrong to spank a child, but it used to be a kind of measure that parents use in our days.
Mm-hmm.
That is one. And secondly, today, giving structure to children most of the time seems to be a kind of punishment for them. Most people don't want to do it. That is the reason why even children as little as 5, 4 today can even dribble their parents around as they want. Although some people are still able to put their foot down and put in some structures, but the larger part of our society blindly believe in this new change by calling things with a new name. But meanwhile, the nature remain. Only on that instance, I agree with you, Frank, because this was also the example that I used to this friend of mine that I attempted to help, in the sense that I used the lion analogy to kind of explain things to her. A lion, no matter how long it has been tamed, may have even participated in cycles in cities around the world. Is still a lion.
Of course, it
It does
remains.
not it does not turn into a herbivorous animal simply because it was traveling around doing cycles around in cities around the world. Instinct can kick in and could still kill. It still eat flesh. It doesn't eat anything else. So why
That's
do I
right.
say this? For a person as an adult to be full of that kind of naivety, going about life, not tending to take things so serious, things
Mm-hmm.
that should have been taken into the right perspective and don't do it, and expecting so much from others, things that she herself cannot even give. And there should be things should be done in the proper order. So yes, on that, I could say yes, maybe the parents didn't give her the proper structure that it should have been. We are using it as a case study here.
Mm.
Do parents now reintroduce the system that was used in our time in this modern day? Will that thing work anymore?
Of course, it got work. It
We're in
works, depending.
2024, Frank. We're in
It works.
2024, Frank. The
Leave
welfare officers in most of
2024.
the cities that we live are more powerful than us parents.
Leave 2024. Parents still have parents are still the primary custodian of their children. Irrespective of what we are saying today, I still have right to my child to know what she can do, what she cannot. I still have that right. And I don't think anybody can take that right from me. Yeah. Because
Absolutely.
we don't actually have to agree with everything or with anything that is going on. Yeah, we gotta fight back. We have to, and you see, all over the world, many parents are fighting back. Many, a lot, are fighting back to take hold of their children because we don't know where these things are coming from.
Okay. Are you genuinely saying that my
Yeah.
truth cannot coexist with the truth that we have all known as a society?
It cannot. Check up the meaning of personal truth or my truth. It's just an opinion. It's just an opinion.
Tiasha,
It's
do you
not
agree with
even.
that?
It's just an opinion.
I do to
Okay.
some extent,
But
based
but
on, especially
there are
based on
some
the
personal
examples.
principles. Excuse me, sorry. But there are some principle. There are some personal principle and personal belief that helps you to navigate this world or that helps you to navigate some certain things to achieve something. These things, they are truth, are they real, they are your force, okay? There are such things like this. It doesn't matter what anybody says about it. It doesn't matter what is going on. You understand? But these things, they are truth to you. These are real. It is personal. Okay. There are some opinion like that. There are some ideas like that that helps you to go forward and to achieve greatly. You understand? So these are different. Okay. These are not just an opinion. Okay, all these are instinct that drives you to do. You know, we also have instinct. We live on instinct too.
Of course, as a human being, we have instincts.
Yeah.
That is
So
natural.
these are different from opinion. Okay, these are different from opinion, and is different. Is it differ from one person to another? Okay, and when we have some of these ideas, these build our characters. Okay, so these are where we are different. These are the reason why we handle some matter differently, even if it's the same. All right. So these are also the reason why we react to some situation, even if they are the same, we react differently. All right. So these things, they are real and these things are truth. But I believe and I guess what we are just talking about, just all those awoke truths that are not real.
But they have implication
The
on the laws
laws,
and the society
the
in which
people
we live.
making the law,
That is my problem in
the,
it. That is
the
the
people
reason why I'm
making the law
asking
are
the
the
new
same.
truth if it can function with the old truth.
No, if you look at it, the people making the law, especially the left wing side of the politics today, these are certain people, a certain class of people that just came up and say we have to turn things. Things must not remain the way they were before. Okay, so we understand they are pushing up and down, and they eventually gain power. Okay, so that's why when we check especially the Westerners, the
Hmm.
politics of Westerners today doesn't make any sense. The laws they are enacting doesn't make any single sense. Okay, it doesn't stand. It has nobody to help, and is leading to destruction, and is leading to dilapidation. It's leading to different kind of stuff that are not good, and they know that what they are doing is wrong, but they are in it, they are in power, so they can do some of the things they wish and they think is true. And based on we don't think anymore. If you look at it, for the past 50 years, we don't have men. For the past 50 years, we don't have men. We don't have men. We don't have women. For the past 50 years, we don't have men and women again. What we have now are people that have feelings and they gain power. We are not, men don't have feeling. They don't have feeling. There's nothing like feeling. You know, what they know what to do. They lead. They make harsh, sometimes truth can be harsh decision. For you to gain freedom, sometimes you gotta shed blood. Freedom come with price. Doesn't just come like that. Okay. So, but now we want to make everything like we have men that are thinking like women today. Do you know it has switched? Men are not thinking like women. Women are not thinking like men. So it's in opposite direction. So at the end of the day, the few ones that can still think straight, they are called different names. Okay. So the few ones that will say, no, this is how this thing should be. This is how it is. And this how it has always been. They will have a name that they will be called. Or very many of them will make sure they try their best not to be able to speak anymore. Even if one should have any kind of education now, he has this kind of a certificate, and that certificate has achieved this degree, that degree. But when they open their mouth to speak, you will be wondering, where do you think from? From this head, Abi, where is this brain that is here? Or where do you think from? But this may be a professor. This may have this kind of degree, that kind of degree, and in order to cram it, or it may have a kind of political power, and will be telling us this one is this, that one is that. Now, look at what is going on in every part of the world today. Look at
Mm-hmm.
what is going on. Even we know that this thing is truth, we cannot condemn it. We'll have a reason to say yes, it has to be so. Okay,
Tasha,
so
I, I believe
that is how it is. So we do
so
not have men anymore. So we need men. We need mothers like Tasha who understand.
the liquid metal.
Yeah.
Oh,
we,
Frank.
Yeah,
we,
Ta-
we still need
Tasha.
mothers like her. We need women like her who will be able to think and understand. Like the other time we were talking about the difference between men and women. uh,
Yes.
There were some things that Tasha says, and I took that into consideration very well. She said, I understand I'm a woman. I don't actually have to have a kind of explanation for you to understand that this is who I am and this is what I am. I don't have to prove some things to be me. Okay, so these are truth. These are real truth. Even if you call it personal truth, these are real truth.
I finally got some credit, huh?
Of course. You have always got some credit. And what a
Well,
shame. What a shame, Tiasha, you identify as a woman. Can you imagine in 2024 with all the
No,
things going on in the world?
I told you, my pronouns are cha-ching. I I identify as rich.
Rich.
Hmm.
I
Awesome.
saw something on
Uh,
the internet. I saw something on the internet.
Uh-huh.
So there were some police force.
Okay.
It was written this. Then another person that woke up today. Are you a policeman? You identify as a policeman. I want to understand. you know,
oh, was that the one with the car with the LGBTQ sticker on?
Yeah, I don't just want to mention that the because the word is
Why?
even so
I do, yeah, well, I will speak for you, and I know what you implied before. I do agree with you partially, but I know where Pedro is coming from because and I'm gonna, yeah, Tasha will speak, of course. Who else? This gender movement. The real truth is there are two genders, right? Man and a woman, but the illusion, the truth of some people has been that there is so many genders like that we can't even count them anymore. And I know that Pedro might be thinking also from this perspective, like, so their truth cannot change the system, cannot change the world. It looks like it is. It's just doing that. But I believe that
Mhm.
what it is now the fact that we've been molded for quite some years now to, when it comes to human rights, when it comes to freedom of speech and stuff, like stuff has been added into this, so to speak, laws and regulations, right?
Mhm.
And I think that this actually gave now people the whole permission to even change vocabulary, so to speak,
Yeah.
right? Because now
True.
a single person can actually ask me for me to refer to them, but I was not taught that in school, right? And I'm giving just an example since we are speaking about everything. So I know, like, what Pedro is saying now. When the question was asked, I kind of understand why it was asked because based on what we are going through for the past, let's say, 2 3 years, or I'll say since pandemic, when people had too much time to think about the new stupidity, um, it's just, yeah, it started affecting now the whole system, everyone. So, to a certain extent, like although that there is the truth, right? Like that main one, they kind of molded around like these sub truths that still attached to this truth, right? And it's just, yeah, Pedro, you put it rightly. It's us who wanted it. It's us who voted, like, right? It's us who fought for it. It's us who, wished for it. It's us who developed it when it comes to technologies and certain things. And now we are paying the price. Um,
Yeah,
but you see, this is the thing. Sorry, Pedro, just to add here. The thing is that us, the way we are thinking, because I think that we have a very old school thinking when it comes to certain things. And I'm not saying that is wrong. I stand by it full 100%. Um, but we might see it as an effective thing because we see the differences, we are aware of them, and we see, maybe I'm not gonna say we are, able to predict the future, but we do based on what it is now, kind of are able to have a clue of what is coming in the next 5 to 10 years. And that scares the shit out of us, even as parents, as somebody who is gonna still leave this earth, hopefully, and experience this nonsense that is happening, or even worse nonsense that is coming.
Mhm.
But these Gen Z generations, or XY, I don't know what they are called anymore. It's For them, this is like the only thing that they know. And I
perfect.
also think that we are also generation of a life before the telephones, yet alone the internet. And we know how the life has been, at that time, and we see the difference.
Good.
Our children, for example, will not know this difference. So I think that this is also one thing we need to add here in.
Yeah. Even we ourselves, based on the example you just gave now, we can't even go back living in the past. It is not possible. And this is what I will advise us as well, at least those that are in our age bracket and those maybe even still older than us. The the earlier we are able to make peace with the reality, the better it is for us, because we cannot also permit ourselves to live with that delusion of thinking that things will ever go back to how it was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I genuinely don't see any reason how that would be possible, first of
Mhm.
all. And it's not, I don't see that as progressive in as well. But even at that, as things continues to change, I think it's depending on us. If we believe that we know better, we should be able to do better. It is our duty to help to guide the generation after us, because if the ones before us taught us that we were okay, even though we are a complete mess up, Tiasha, there was one of the shows that we said we agree that we are not okay the way we are. Some of us need improvement so badly.
Yeah.
So, but our generation, they told us, I mean, our parents told us that we are okay the way we are. And the generation after us, they just take it a step further, where it becomes that even if you are the 90th person, you still had a trophy. While growing up, it was, as soon as in my experience, it was first, second, third. Anything other than
Mhm.
that doesn't exist. But I have
Yeah.
seen just right now that there is a trophy even for the 25th or the 60th position. So that is the reason why I said we closed our eyes and accept all of these things, and they are taking hold. And today it is now called my truth. I know that we started this discussion based on the personal experience that I relate and everything, which is a beautiful thing. But I'm also happy that the two of you were able to relate it to the larger society as a whole. However, what are we to do as a society or as a parents, starting from the family? How do we help to guide our young ones in formulating this new knowledge now of my truth? Because it is not true that we are so strong that in our household these ideas and way of seeing things cannot come into our family. That is like saying that we will be able to stop our children to have friends that we do not like. It is not possible. No
No.
parent in the history of time has been able to stop their children from having friends that they do not like. As a parent, the best thing you can do is to be prepared on how to manage it. So
Mm.
based on that factual experience of how things has always been in human history, I am asking as parents, how can we help our children to formulate or influence this new idea of my truth? Or is there nothing that we can do at all?
I don't know. Listen, um, I do it old school way when it comes to raising my kids. I establish discipline, I establish routine, and I'm not stepping down from that. Until
Mhm.
these children are living under my roof, this is
Mhm.
how it will be.
That's right.
I am aware of the
Mhm.
system. I am aware of the situations, but
Mhm.
my job is to let them know that there is something called the truth as we speak, and there is something called a new truth.
That's right.
Now, I, as a parent, will tell you, and I'm gonna give you now an example. A few days ago, I flipped because I thought my daughter is, you know, bowing down to the system and new society and stuff. And I grabbed it and I corrected her, and it was about genders, and I was like, no, there are only two genders. And she replied to me, because I flipped, obviously. She was like, no, I know, it's just the way she worded it. But I explained to her later why I flipped. And I said, listen, When I was growing up, when your daddy was growing up, when your grandma was growing up, when your great grandma was growing up, and stuff like that, we all knew there are two genders, male and a female. And I'm using this as an example, even if somebody gets offended. Sorry. But uh, I told her, now people believe they can be anything. And some people approve that. And I told her, I personally do not approve that. That's why I flipped on you and I corrected you. Now, whether you want to accept the new truth of uncountable genders or you want to believe of what I believe, it's up to you. But until you are under this roof, there are two genders. I am like that. I am honestly I'm like that. And I teach my daughter accept. I teach my daughter do not judge. I teach, but this is one thing, like I would say, if your classmate will identify as a dog, shut up. Think your own thing. You understand? I'm not forcing you to accept it. I'm not forced. Just please shut up, think your own, move on. If you come across, I don't know, a man wearing makeup, shut up, think your own, move on. Do
Mhm,
not
mhm,
judge. Don't do.
mhm,
If you accept it or you don't accept it, until it affects your personal life, do not move. When it starts affecting you personally, then you decide whether you're gonna kneel down or you're gonna stand up for yourself. And no matter what kind of a situation we have, I always do that. And yes, right now, I think is for us, the way we think, for our generation, it's, I think, very hard to raise these kids.
mhm,
And there is nothing like right or wrong anymore. Because
mhm,
what I'm doing now, in the eyes of many, might be wrong. No, you are teaching your daughter, I don't know, for example, she'll be judgmental, she'll be this. Fine, think like that. I'm fine with that. And I know that my way of the way I'm raising them is not gonna fly with everyone. It flies with me, and that's what matters the most. I
uh-huh,
do
that's
not
it.
care what my
Mhm,
neighbor thinks. I don't even care what my mother thinks because my family starts with me, not my mother, not my grandma, not my neighbor, not anyone. It's me, my husband, and our kids. So that's how I see it. Now, there are situations where you maybe to a certain extent have to kneel down and stuff, but I always, like I said, um, I talk to her as an adult. Obviously, there are certain things she cannot hear, like, when it comes to adult words and stuff, but I do mold it in her own kind of way, understanding, and that's
mhm.
how it's always gonna be. And that's it. And I think that this is one way to approach things personally.
Frank, do you
That's true.
agree? Is there anything you want to add?
Yeah, of course, I agree with Tasha 100%. Because sometimes many of us, especially parents, we don't want to be accountable of some things. We just want to go with the system. We don't want
Mhm.
to take criticisms. We just have to align with the system. We just have to agree. Well, if it is like that, it has to be like that. Well, there's nothing I could do. No, there's something you can do. So I think there was somebody who came from UK. I used to teach her here in the church. Now she's in the university. So a few days ago, we met, and this is what we are just discussing. We are talking about these things. So she was telling me, uh, I used to teach her those days that male and female, we're just talking generally in the church and all
Hmm.
that. Then she told me something that actually amused me. I said, "Do you know that now what you say then, it is now what I actually hold on that is helping me." These
Oh,
were a few
really?
years ago. Of course. of course, because
But this
one,
also
one of,
shows that the person you were teaching in this case is matured,
yeah, because
and
one of the things that
intelligent enough.
I was telling them then, because she's the kind of person that is so timid. So the something that I used to tell them, I say, first and foremost, understand, you cannot be a white girl. You are not. You are not. You are a black girl, and you are unique. So you are not less human. If somebody tells you you are like this, it's your response that matters. It's not what the person says. What the person says is important very much. But how do you respond to it? How do you react to it? How do you accept it? How do you reject it? These are what you will do. And mind you, nobody is going to do it for you. I'm not going to do it for you because I'm not going to be with you there. Not even your parent will do those things for you. These
Mm-hmm.
are things that you will do personally. And these things, they are in you. You have all the abilities in you. You can start outright. If you want to put a price on yourself, read. Have understanding more than your classmate. Everybody will come to you. Even those that are feeling big and all that, that try to intimidate you, that try to bully you and all that. You just understand what they are saying in the class. You will be a friend to the teacher. You'll be a friend to everybody. Those that that try to bully you, they are only just jealous.
I
Now,
say the same thing to my daughter.
so now she's in the university now. This is what she told me. Say, now what you thought is not working. And
Wow.
I said, well, I'm glad about that. So imagine if that is my daughter. Don't you think how happy I will be?
Of course.
That's
So you
true.
see, so many parents nowadays, what I'm seeing nowadays, especially in the Western society these days, is that nobody wants to be accountable and nobody wants to be
Mm.
responsible for anything.
But we should
Nobody.
not underestimate the fact that a lot of people are afraid. The law in the
That
West is very powerful. There are
fear,
some things you
let
do,
me
your means of livelihood is gone.
No, fear. People stood up. I had people who's, when this gender thing was going on, people stood up. Their certificate were withdrawn. Daughters, their certificate were withdrawn. And
Yes.
very many of them did not change their mouth. They speak the
Yes.
same language to tomorrow, and they later regain everything that they need to regain. Listen, we are all afraid. Me, I'm afraid. It's because of the fear that I have. That's why I'm teaching my kids what I'm teaching them. Understand? Because
Mm.
the fear of not to be a faith dad. You understand? So
That is true.
the fear not to be not as in not to lead them astray, because I want to lead them to the truth. Although I will not help them to understand. They will be the one to understand. Okay. So these are but nowadays the truth of the matter is that the fear of most parents are not fear of stupidity. Very many of them, even though very many of them were not brought up in any way, in any kind of hard way. Please, oh sorry. So no. At times you gotta tell a child, man, you got to be hard. But nowadays we are not hard. Nothing is going on. Everything is like this, is like that, is like that. I think
And you see,
few times
COVID
ago, excuse me,
COVID
let
era
me
was
tell,
the perfect example of what Frank is
yeah.
saying now.
So let me
Okay.
tell you something that happened a few days ago and what I encountered. So at a point in time, I was trying to speak to my daughter. So she wasn't responding to me. She wasn't responding, as in she kept doing what she was doing. Then I walk up to her. Do you know did you hear me that I was talking to you? Now, the intensity of my voice was a little bit high. Then somebody now says, don't you think maybe you are too much hard on her? Then I told the person, in what sense I'm hard on her? She was looking at that person, and the way I responded to the person, so the person quiet and walk away like that. So in what sense do you think I'm hard on her? Let me know. Because why? She is trying to put what is it called? Her own on me and to my daughter. But that cannot work because she's white. There are ways you handle matters. I don't have to talk to her. And what concerns you? Why are you interfering? No, I don't have to do that. I'm civilized. I understand things. But just a
Yeah.
simple one. In what sense, please, am I hard on her? Because actually, you could see that I was talking to her. She was neglecting my words.
Yeah, but get this is always the problem. She
Yeah?
When it comes to intercultural contest, most of the time, this is always the problem. She didn't intervene. She didn't correct the child, hearing the
No,
sound of the voice of her father calling her
no,
and didn't
no.
respond. The father now tried to correct the child. There was already an issue. This
Yeah?
is where I find things difficult most of the time living in Western world in contexts like this. However, our discussion today has been a very great one. It's caring, and one thing that I've gotten to know is that from the two of you, myself included, is that most parents are afraid then with the way things are going in the society. I wish this fear could have been communicated to our leaders in the society because I am
Would they
no
listen? Do they care? They want us to be afraid, Pedro.
They
What
don't
can you
care.
communicate?
Nothing.
What would you accomplish? They want us to be the way we are. They want us to be afraid. They want us to be fearful. They want us to be easily led. They want us to be sheeps. Point blank.
Yeah, of
There is no
course.
leader on this world that will care about how you feel.
No,
bec-
they don't care
because
about what you feel. They care about what they feel and what they want.
It's not about
So,
what they feel. It's about what they want. What are they gonna
yeah.
benefit from it? What are the
So,
benefit aspects of this? Listen,
nice.
it's all about look at this now. What they are doing to people, right? Look, just artificial intelligence. Oh, it's so good. It's gonna do this and that. But people, artificial intelligence is taught. Who is gonna teach? And what are they gonna teach? They're gonna teach exactly what they want it to be taught.
yes.
Artificial intelligence doesn't just grow intelligence on a tree and eats it and
Somebody
picks
programmed
whatever
it.
it wants. Exactly. So they're advertising how it's good, how everything from the chips in our system. They're gonna insert it under skin. You're gonna have a. Are you mad? What is good
Anyway,
about this?
thank you so much, Tasha.
So
Let me just take some comment. There is comment from Obina Stanley. Uh, Obina Stanley said, "I sense some level of selfishness whenever the word my truth is used. It suggests
Mhm.
deviation from the main issue. The said word of phrase,
or phrase. Hmm.
uh, if properly,
Check.
guys, if properly
Okay, can I
checked,
read
yeah,
it?
read it please because I don't have my glasses here.
If
But mind you,
properly
I'm a
checked.
Gen Z, and don't you guys should not laugh. I'm a Gen Z.
Wait, you took it off.
Oh, sorry.
Suggest a lie between the lines of the story. The truth is that things have changed. However, the only constant phenomenon in life is change, And people just have to be careful on how to go about the changes by following standards that have always stood the test of time.
Mhm.
Yes,
Bene. That's a very great one. Thank you, Mr. Obina. I really appreciate. May God bless you.
I agree
Then
with him.
there is also a comment from Madam Chichi Igwe. Let's read it. Great conversation. I'm sure many of us are learning. Thank you so very
Hi,
much,
Chi
Madam.
Chi. Thank
And
you.
thank you for being with us tonight. May God bless you. I really appreciate. This is this is something where the angle with which we took the discussion to this evening was even something that I didn't anticipate at all. I did in my reflection and while preparing Tiasha for this topic and everything, we didn't even thought of maybe this
No,
particular
I
area
mean,
at all.
that's the truth.
The truth. Don't go and cause trouble. The truth. Are you talking of your truth or our truth or the truth of
No,
everybody?
I'm talking about our truth and the actual truth. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the thing is that I think there is really an apprehension out there within the families, both for and against. I really do not see it as a problem in the sense there is this here. The thing is that where do we channel it? And I asked earlier on, you guys said even our leaders, our political leaders do not care. That itself is a problem. How can we be in a society whereby we don't even have the possibility of sharing our fears and concerns with our political leaders? That itself is a problem. And I wish there is
First of
a
all,
solution around
the
us.
leaders are not there to basically take us in consideration. They take in consideration whatever is beneficial. So I don't know why we have them anyway, and why is there so many? Because there is only one world, if we are honest to each other. But this is a very look. I mentioned COVID before. There is people who were fearful. There were people who were fearful they're gonna lose jobs. There were people who were fearful that they're gonna be, I don't know, fined if the police gets them on the streets, and they're gonna go to the court, or maybe even being locked up, or there was so much frustration on people when it comes to vaccination. If you're not gonna vaccinate, you can lose the job. You cannot go there. You cannot do this. Blah blah blah. Listen, all these people forgot about, first of all, human rights at that moment. All they did is they listened. They listened to the TV, they listened to the radio, they listened to Facebook, because even at that time, Facebook was so big on just like taking off everything that was against it.
Yeah, they
And they
were
just
fighting against
followed,
COVID disinformation.
yeah,
There was nothing
yes.
misinformation.
There was listen, this is the problem, because the truth is called conspiracy theory. The truth
Of
is not
course,
called truth anymore. Everything
yes,
now is conspiracy theory. If 50 years ago was truth, today is a conspiracy theory.
yes,
Because
yes,
that's how they want to just lash it down. There was no misinformation. Everything that was against it, even if it
yes,
was not misinformation, was taken off.
yes, of course,
If you posted, I was banned because I said I'm not gonna vaccinate myself. I will
yeah,
not let you poison me. I will not, and they took me off. I was banned for 48 hours. So you see, but anyway, what I'm saying is there were people like were fearful. For example, my job at some moment in time in between that, um, there was a high possibility. I mean, there was discussion going on that, if we are not gonna vaccinate, we lose the job. And they had an idea to go around and basically ask us if we're gonna vaccinate. And I said, who gave you the right to ask me anything medical related? Who gives you that right? I am not in a place to disclose my medical concerns with you. I am not answering that question. If you want to get rid of me because I'm not vaccinated, or I'm not planning to, or whatever, then I'm happy to leave now alone. I'll walk out. But this is the thing. People that I'm using this just an example for to make my point. Why if you are fear it doesn't mean that if you are fearful that you just need to go with the flow. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Why
Mm-hmm.
can't you stand
True.
by yourself? Why can't you
Ah.
fight for yourself? Because you are not just fighting for you, you are fighting for your children, you are fighting for your family. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Even now, look, gender movement, if they bring it to school, I'm taking my daughter from that school and you're putting in another. And when another one accepts, I'll take her out, I'll put it somewhere else. I will do that because I'm against it, for example. Why can't I fight? Why don't I have that right? Why do I need to
Mm-hmm.
be forced into this new whatever? No, I have a right to make my decision. That's what human rights are
Mm-hmm.
for on the first place. I have freedom
Mm-hmm.
of speech. That's why it's there. I will speak. I will fight until my last breath. I will. And all these people is just I'm saying again, it's media, it's TV, it's internet, it's radios, it whatever. They are just talking nonsense to these people and they believe it.
Yeah.
It proved like you have a leader. Listen, let's go back. Let's take 10 leaders now back, right? Whoever you voted was promising you something, let's say. You voted for that person you believed, it failed.
Yeah.
Another one came, promised you something, you voted, it failed. Now, if 10 of them promised you something and they didn't fulfill, and you go and vote for somebody who gave you again sugar coated words, but whose fault is it?
It's my fault.
Exactly. And it's because they believe every time they are they are told something nice, they will believe it, they fall for it. And then they point finger on the leader. Yeah, but you people went there and you voted for him, for example. So yes, I do understand what you mean, Pedro, but at the same time, if you're strong headed, if you know what you want, you go for it, right? Nobody will stop you. If you want, let's say, a position at work, you will go for it, right? No matter how like other co-workers that are maybe same qualified or whatever might intimidate you, you will go for it, right? Because you are fighting for yourself. So it's your determination that is going to bring you there. So you see, it's the same in life. It's the same. You will go, you will fight for it if you want something. If look for example, look at your journey just for the way your steps went towards where you are today. You went an education and stuff in a foreign country. I am million% sure, even though you didn't tell me, there's been people that were telling you otherwise. There were people that were throwing you stones on your way.
Mm-hmm.
But
So
because of
true.
your determination of what you wanted for yourself, for your future family at that time, for your vision, you went and you fought, regardless of how fearful you were of where you're gonna end. Because of what others did to you, said to you, the system did to you, the system treated you, or whatever. You went and you fought, and look at you now. So the same goes for every other person. You understand? In every other situation, if you let go, look, if you believed in the system, if you believed, you would still be maybe in a refugee center somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
trying, or maybe in another country, trying your way there. You understand? Regardless of your difficult path, regardless of the system that you needed to go through, regardless of the paperwork and stuff that you need, come on. It's the same for everything. You want it, go get it. Nobody can stop you. Nobody.
Mm-hmm.
That's
So
so
that's it.
true. That's so
Yeah.
true. Thank you so very much, guys. On that note, I will let's leave it here today because the thing is that I'm really happy. I'm happy about the points that you all raised. I'm so
Mm-hmm.
sorry, but that I didn't find that what do they call it? The optimism among us concerning our leaders, and this is something very negative as a leader
Mm-hmm.
of any society. If at least on average both for and against don't feel that confident that they can communicate with you, I think is something really, really bad. And this is something that I believe it should get to our leaders. They should know very well that look, the the truth of the matter is that the citizens are not very, very happy with the way the things are going in the society. And I believe it doesn't even have to be with me believing or not. That is how it has been from the history of time. We cohabit, both who believe in one particular thing and who doesn't believe in it. The law has always protected all of us, and that is the birth of that is what led to the birth of liberalism. You live your life, I live my life, and it's something that has functioned over a very long period of time. I think the real spirit of liberalism has to be brought back. Live and let live without
Mhm.
us forcing each other to be or to accept the new truth that we don't want to accept or
I don't know,
whatsoever.
you know, this liberty and stuff. Look, it's just UK what liberals have done. So
Yeah,
even in
but
those, I do
but
not
the thing is
trust.
that the thing,
No.
Tiasha, this is one problem with liberalism as well. I am liberal in it. I could consider myself as a classical liberal. One thing that I've always fought against is that when you continue to shift the goalpost of anything in life, it becomes a problem. It is not a bad thing for you to think out of the box, but we should be educated enough to know, to learn, and know when thinking out of the box is no longer helping the situation. That
How about thinking like there is no box?
there is no boss at all. That
Yeah.
would, Yasha, that would be anarchy in nature. We don't need anarchy. Yasha, you don't come again. We don't need anarchy. That would be anarchy. An anarchy form of government is
I
not the
told
best
you I'm born in the wrong era. I told you.
we don't need that at all. So I think I like our job, I like our discussion. I think in the future we have to be able to invite politicians as well and allay these fears. Let us even hear their opinion. Let us do that in our various capacity. This is not to say that we are against anybody in on this show or whatsoever. That is not our mission here at all. Our mission is to be able to create a platform whereby
To
everybody
speak
will be able to
our own
express
truth.
themselves. Our own truth. Okay. Even if that's the case, everybody can speak their own truth. You understand?
Yes.
That is just how
Yes.
it is. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate. Then just some few comments, then we call it a day.
Oh, Chichi, thanks for stopping by. Much appreciated.
Wow.
Mhm.
Appreciation. Then this one, repent
And the
and
little in
believe.
Jesus, He is the truth.
Okay. From Michael. Okay. He is the truth, the
He's the
way, and the
truth,
life.
the way, and the
Okay.
life.
All right. That's fine. Thank you so very much, guys. In conclusion, there is just one thing that I want to say.
You
I
said
like I
it's too religious. Let's leave it because Yasha is gonna say something.
Yes, yes, yes. No, no, that's not the issue. But I want to leave you guys with this. I want to leave you guys. We have known. This is how I really feel. Even concerning because while talking, I wrote these things down. Your capacity. One thing that I want anybody that is listening to the sound of our voice today to know is that your capacity to do things in life could be fueled by the resilience you gain from an adversity that you have gone through in life and survived. I really
Mhm.
believe this, even though those that are afraid today or not. I am not saying that you go out there to cause problem to anybody. And just like Tiasha said earlier on, if whatever truth that is out there in the world is not affecting you personally, you can coexist with it, so be it. But if it affects you in one way or the other, or even if it affects somebody else that you know, speak up. That is what activists are for. And mind
Yes.
you, most activists were never loved or accepted by anybody in their society. Majority of them. If you permit me to tell you tonight, even Nelson Mandela, as he is reverend today, even in the Western world or whatsoever, but was even called by Margaret Thatcher as a madman or Ronald Reagan. He
Mm-hmm.
was discredited and everything, just to buttress the fact that oftentimes those that speak up in society were never generally respected by the larger society, at least those that benefited from what the things that were happening in that particular society are. So speaking of, guys, is important. As a family, as an individual, if genuinely there is something that needs to be corrected in our society, it depends on all of us to speak up to make a cause to change a course of direction. And with that being
And
said,
I
what
am
is
the
it?
living
Yasha?
proof. I am the
You are
living
the
proof that
okay.
you can survive if people do not like you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So go for
No,
it. Go for
no
it.
problem at all. Speak up, that's the most important thing. And the
Yes.
guest we had last week was the same thing that she said, even though that topic was a different one entirely. But what I want to say is that almost everybody agreed that when things are not going well, that we should speak up. So I am
Yes.
surprised why majority of us are not doing it. Even living in fear is not going to help us as a society as a whole. Anyway, thank
Mm.
you so very much, Tiasha, for this beautiful evening. Thank you, Mr. Frank. I really appreciate.
Thank you.
May may the universe and God, whatever anybody believe, bless and guide in the direction of everyone. And above all else, let us learn to speak up. It is necessary. That is what we have agreed tonight. Let us spread it in our cycles, in our families, and everywhere we have impact. That speaking up is very, very important. The topic
Mm.
has been my truth, and I'm encouraging anyone, please, even if I will tolerate anything, at least cheat me with the price. Don't change the goose for me. Leave
Exactly.
the goose for what it is, please. Because when you cheat me with the goose, then I have a problem.
Yes.
It destabilize it destabilize my functionality as a citizen in the society. On that note,
Yes.
bye for now. It was a great show and have a very good one, everyone. Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
Ciao, bye.
Toodles.
Bye bye.
All right, guys. Bye bye.